Hi, my name's Katie Tylinski, and I'm the Director of Faith Formation for the parishes of Christ the King and St. Gertrude. And I'm happy to offer you my scriptural reflection for the 14th Sunday in Ordinary Time. Shipwrecked, beaten, in prison, abandoned. These are just a small snapshot of the sufferings and perils that St. Paul endured as a missionary. He sought to spread the truth of the gospel, wherein he traveled over 10,000 miles doing just that. As you may know, St. Paul, formerly known as Saul, had persecuted Christians prior to his conversion experience. With the help of the grace of God, he chose to turn away from a life of sin and then chose to be directed by the Holy Spirit who guided him to be a missionary. His conversion of heart was not just a one-time choice. The decision to follow the truth of the gospel was a decision that he made every single day amidst great trials. St. Paul's initial conversion experience goes to show that no matter how many sinful choices we have made, we can always get back on the right path with God's help. As we hear in today's responsorial psalm, if our eyes are fixed on the Lord, pleading for his mercy, we can receive the sacrament of reconciliation with a contrite heart, with the intent to sin no more, and we can restore our relationship with God. As we hear in St. Paul's letter to the Corinthians this Sunday, 3 times I begged the Lord about this, that it may leave me. But he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for power is made perfect in weakness. I will rather boast most gladly of my weaknesses, in order that the power of Christ may dwell with me. Therefore I am content with weaknesses, insults, hardships, persecutions, and constraints for the sake of Christ. For when I am weak, then I am strong. In this life, none of us are immune from suffering, but we can choose each day to take that suffering and allow it to be an opportunity where we can grow in holiness, so that one day we can be united with God in heaven. Suffering can lead us on the path of salvation. We can allow God to transform our hearts and trust that he will supply us with every grace that we need in order to not only just have a survival attitude, but an attitude where we can thrive. Suffering oftentimes draws us inward towards ourselves. The Holy Spirit helps us to turn towards God, and in turn, we are then able to change our focus and to serve others. While we may not be called to the same missionary work as St. Paul, God asks us each individually to serve him through our own unique calling. The musician Matt Maher beautifully conveys in his song, Your Grace is Enough, this particular message. Great is your love and justice, God. You use the weak to lead the strong. You lead us in the song of your salvation, and all your people sing along. So remember your people, remember your children, remember your promise, O God, your grace is enough. Love means sacrifice, and therefore, how much are we willing to sacrifice like St. Paul for the sake of the gospel? God's grace is always enough for us, especially in times of weakness and struggle. Let us align our sufferings with the sufferings of Jesus on the cross. May we always be open to the many ways that the Holy Spirit can work in our lives so that we can spread the gospel to all that we encounter through our word and deed.